For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in on your favorite podcast app. I am embracing my age. I have been for years. I'm 42 years old. And I have made some observations about how I am in my own life and then also with the rest of the world. How I interact, how I view the world at my age. Now, you'd think that just by saying this, I'm some old curmudgeon in my 80s or whatever. No, I'm not. But I've just come to a place where I can recognize things about myself, about society, about, the people around me, and I have previously just sort of filed all these things away. Well, I'm going to talk about them on the show, and it starts on The Scribble right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
JB here, back on The Scribble. I make a lot of observations now that I'm aging. I think that's something that we all do as we get older. And maybe there's a fine line between, curmudgeon and just, an observer or, somebody who's noticing things. I'm talking, though, about my own life, my own body. And, I turned 43 this summer. And I'm 42 right now, obviously. There you go. I'm doing the math for you if you couldn't figure that out. I'm turning 43 this summer. So that means that I'm 42 now. But there's just certain things that I've noticed. And I'm not even talking about my body. You always hear about how, wow, your body goes to hell when you're 40 or 45 or 50, whatever it is. I haven't noticed a change in my body at all. So I don't, maybe if you sleep the wrong way, right, you have a bit of a sore neck or lower back or something, and it's not crippling for me. But I haven't had any, I'm not losing my hair. I still can walk a few miles, with our dogs without, huffing and puffing and needing to stop. So I'm in pretty good health. But I've noticed that my morning is a little bit slower going now. See, I'm also in a different situation than most people my age because I don't, work. I talked about it on the show before. I retired mostly at the age of 39. So for my husband and me, we wake up probably close to noon most days now. But even then, I find that it's really slow going to start the day. Would be a different situation, I guess, if I was having to wake up at, 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever the hell time people wake up to go into work. But for me, I need to really ease into the day. So when I look back to my late 20s, early 30s, I guess. And I was, getting up early. I was doing the radio entertainment segment hits that we did for local stations. So I was up at, I think I was waking up at 6:05. I was on the radio at 6:15, 25, 35, some days 45. And then I was out the door by 6:55 to come into our office. And that morning, for that basically 1 hour from the time that I wake up, quick shower, feed the dogs as I'm showering, whatever, I was able to do that. That was just my morning. That's how I would just go. And maybe that's what I needed to kind of get that jump start to my day. Now, let's fast forward, like I said, 15 years or whatever it is. I'm just no. And now I also find that my nighttime routine again, we've got dogs, so we send the dogs out to go to the bathroom. We have 2 rabbits, so we'll feed make sure the rabbits have stuff for overnight or whatever. But my nighttime routine is, well, I've got my retainers that I've got to put in. Before that, though, I have a glass of Metamucil, just, and so it's like, it's taking me longer to get ready for bed then at night now. Whereas before, you would just brush your teeth. I mean, I've had dogs for a long time, so I would send them out while I brush my teeth and whatever, turn off the lights or what have you, and go to bed. It just seems like now it's a routine almost to get ready for bed. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, I'm still pretty much doing most of the same things, but now I'm just kind of like, oh, that's right. I've the retainer and the Metamucil, and then, I mean, sometimes I have very good skin, but sometimes I'll, moisturize, or I'll do a facial scrub or whatever it is before bed. And then I'm like, wow, it's taking 10, 15 minutes just to get ready for bed. So, and then in the morning, the same thing, where I'm like, it's got to be slow going. I cannot wake up and then be out of the house in 10 minutes. That's not my thing anymore. And then one of the other things that I've noticed is, so we have 2 houses. We've got one in Winnipeg and then one in West Hollywood. The West Hollywood house is significantly larger than the Winnipeg one, but still our Winnipeg house is fairly big. So when you're younger, or you're looking for your first house, or just even dreaming about a house, you always see these different hospital lotteries, at least in Canada, where the big prize is either, $1 million or this dream home. And I think a lot of people, in theory, want the big home because it's this wonderful home. I'm very quickly sitting there going, now, as I get older, I want a smaller place now, because what ends up happening is, I'll leave my whatever. If I've got a glass of water or something, I'll have it filled. I've got a water cooler in my office. We've got one in the kitchen. So I'll fill it, and then I'll just be like, I don't know where's the glass? And I got to get up, either go to a different floor of the house, or, and it's like, so now I'm at the point where I'm just like, screw it, I don't want the glass of water anyway. So I find that I kind of want a smaller place now. It's the novelty of having big houses has worn off on me. I'm like, nah, to go all the way upstairs to get something, or go down to the basement to get something, I'm just like, forget. Do I really, really, really want it? If not, it can stay downstairs. I don't really care. I don't know if that's laziness. I don't know if that's age. I just know that at the beginning, and it's not even about cleaning the house, because we've got cleaning people. So it's not like, I've got such a big house to clean. I don't worry about that. But I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't. The big house thing is not working for me anymore. And I felt this way, actually. The very first time that I felt it, we were doing... we were in Montreal, or we were somewhere, maybe Quebec City or Montreal. Either way, when we would do tourism programming on our syndicated radio shows, the tourism boards for whatever city, whatever destination that we were going to, would generally put me up in a very, very fancy suite of a hotel. And sometimes that hotel would be an advertising partner of ours, or they were having a partnership with the tourism board, so they just gave us the room for nothing. And sometimes we had to promote the hotel, sometimes we didn't. It depends on, whatever they worked out ahead of time. And so there was this one suite that they gave me where it was sprawling to the point where there were hallways. Think about when you go to a hotel room, it's mostly a shoebox, right? It's like a rectangular kind of a room. The bathroom is basically right beside the door to the room. And this room, though, there was a dining room, there was a very big living room, there were 2 bathrooms, there were 2 different bedrooms. And I remember kind of getting settled on the couch in the living room to watch TV or whatever I was doing. Maybe I was doing some work on my computer, I don't recall. And same thing was, I'd poured myself a drink. Where the hell is the goddamn drink? It was by the fridge, which was, I had to get up, go through the living area, go down a hallway, turn right, go down another hallway, past a bedroom to where the fridge was, get my freaking drink that was sitting right on top of the fridge, and then there was something else that I needed. It wasn't my phone, it was just something that was in that same area where the drink was. And yeah, I said to myself, like, I'm not going all the way over there again. So tell me, as you are aging, if you're in my age group, 40s or 50s or what have you, send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com, and tell me, are you just kind of you're kind of over things that maybe had a great novelty in your 20s and 30s, and now you're just like, yeah, no, I'm okay without it. Or just do you look at something differently? Your bedtime routine, does it take you longer to get ready for bed because you got so many things to do to your body? Again, the email live@jbonair.com.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
JB here, back on the Scribble. Since I'm already making this entire episode about age, I'm just going to keep going because, you see, this is the thing, is that it's something that I can laugh about. Now, when I turned 40 a few years ago, my cousin was turning 50. And she was apparently, by her own admission, and then also I heard from other relatives, that she was having a really, tough time. Her son, my other cousin, her son was turning 18 the same year that she was turning 50. So I guess that was a double whammy where it was kind of like, oh, I'm over the hill, I'm 50. My kid is now legal age and, all grown up, whatever. So now see, we don't have kids in my house. So, a different story for me. But then I started to wonder, is this different for men than it is for women? Because I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people. I think, in the gay community, at least, now you're going to be a generalization and a stereotype, but, you typically hear that once you're over 30, as a gay man, you're kind of, done, you're out to pasture. Don Lemon would not like you. Get it? The Nikki Haley past your prime thing. Anybody? Is this microphone on? Hello? Anyway, so when I turned 40, I mean, I was getting all the jokes about, over the hill and whatever, and that's fine because I make them too. When, our producer, Bonnie Winters, I mean, she just turned, 70-something a couple weeks ago. I'm making jokes about it, whatever. I mean, but it doesn't... See, the thing is that we laugh about it. And I know that she's fine with her age, and that's just how she is. And same thing with me when I turned 40. I was just kind of like, everybody can make the jokes. That's fine. It doesn't, it doesn't make me feel bad. Now, my cousin who turned 50, probably not a good year to make those kinds of comments to her. But I will say this. I can laugh and joke about my age. And I said this the other day. I'm waiting for this to become a meme. Maybe it already is one, but I'll take credit for it because I don't look at memes. But I cannot name you one song in the top 10, but I can sing you every medication TV commercial that's out there right now. That's how old I am. I don't know. I can't name you any songs on the charts right now. I probably couldn't even name you two of the artists. But those god-awful jingles that you see on the commercials with everybody, when they've got diabetes and they're all running around like it's the best thing in the world, I can sing you every one of those songs. I'm not going to name the medications. We're not going to give them free airtime. But, yeah, that's something that I laugh about. Now, one of the other things, like I said, as I get older, is I've always kind of been a people watcher. That's nothing new. But more so now. See, what happens is when my husband and I, like I said, we sleep in. We kind of have a late start to the day. I will then go into the bathtub. He goes down to our gym. Well, if we're at home in Canada, he'll go down to the basement where he has an actual gym, and it's not just like a weight bench, whatever. No, the room is actually a gym with it's. Think about one of those like hotel gyms that you see with a That's basically what he has. He's a fitness model. We have to have stuff like that to keep him happy and working. So I go do the bath. He goes to the gym and does a workout, and then we reconnect about 2 hours in. So if it's 11:30 or whatever time we wake up, we'll reconvene at 1:30 or 2 o'clock. We'll then go and have lunch. Now, neither of us cooks, so we eat out a lot, or we order in. And it's fascinating to go to restaurants we don't really go to fast food, but generally at fast food restaurants is where you see kind of people just being themselves. I guess it's a different sort of environment when you go to a nice fine dining or casual dining place. You maybe behave a little bit differently than you would say at a fast food place. So it's entertaining to me. I love watching. I love hearing couples argue. That's something that I really enjoy. Because there's just where it's like, keep your voice down, especially if it's loud enough that people are hearing, But if it's like the table behind me or the table behind my husband, I'll be asking, like, what are they saying? What's going on? What are they having? Because, a loud voice kind of catches your ear. So that's something that I appreciate as being I guess that would be a people listener, not a people watcher. And then also just at fast food restaurants, the endless amounts of people, and it's probably not a good thing for parents to be doing, but just totally ignoring their kids because the parent is on the phone. And that's something that I just see over and over again, where you'll have the kid desperately trying to get mom or dad's attention, and they are just consumed with their phone. And it's sad to me because I know that I was that kid that needed a lot of attention. I was always, Mom, look at this, Mom, look at this. I was a showman, so I was always putting on a song and dance, literally a song and dance. I would be, I'd call her to my room, and my mom, I'd put on a whatever song and do a performance, really. And so I couldn't imagine being ignored. And like I said, I'm just seeing it for the brief time that I'm interacting, not interacting, but I'm within eyesight of these people, which, so at a fast food restaurant is what, maybe 20 minutes, half hour, if they're, hanging around a little bit after eating. So I can only imagine how the kid feels after, day after day after day like that. I just, I would get to the point of, once I'm old enough as the kid, to just go and say, like, actually, Mom, I don't want to go for lunch with you because, kind of annoying. And you think about that, though, when the kid gets to be a teenager or whatever. I guess they're getting phones at a younger age now. I don't know what age you give your kid a phone, but, you kind of wait because that's when the parent is threatened, right? Listen to me, I'm talking to you. Listen to me, I'm going to take that phone away. I just wish that the younger kids would do that to a parent and say, Mom, I'm talking to you. Do I have to take your phone away? I would love that. Oh my God. I'm not one of those people who whips out my phone to record, conversations and things like that in public, but that would make my day to see a kid do that. Could you imagine, like, just a 5-6-year-old? Mom, I'm talking to you. Put away your phone. Mom, listen to me. It happened one time, by the way. I was at a pizza restaurant, and I was by myself. Why was I eating by myself? I'm not ashamed to go to a restaurant by myself. I'm just fine with that. I know exactly. I'm picturing the restaurant. I'm closing my eyes as I'm saying this. There was a young boy and his mom, and they were kind of, the table was sort of diagonally across from me, so it wasn't really beside, but this was a buffet restaurant, so I had to get up and walk a bunch of times just as they did. And so I remember a couple times going by, and he was trying to tell her about science class, but whatever that they were building, or they made something, like he was trying to tell her about school, basically. And she had the one hand scrolling the phone, and then the other hand eating. She had the fork in one hand, and then the phone in the other. And the kid was just, he was talking. He wasn't questioning her, going, Mom, 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 listen to me. Are you listening? He was just sort of talking, and you could tell that she just was not paying attention. Because he was either repeating himself or, just the way that he was talking, you could sense that she wasn't engaging at all. And so to me, that would just be so sad. And then on the flip side, I've seen this too, where the little kid, and now we're talking 2 or 3 years old, is just throwing a phone to keep them busy, just throwing a phone. And the fact that the kid knows how to operate the phone and knows where to press and whatever. Yeah, we had toys as kids, so we knew what, the little barn set or whatever. We knew how to press the horse to make it go neigh or whatever it would be. That was technology, I guess, at the time. But now it's, you just throw them this tablet and have them, play a game or something. And they're just holding it, inches from their face. And it happened one time. We were at a food court at a mall. And there was, so there was it was like the back wall of the food court. So there was a very, very long bench, and then you had individual tables. And then across from that, there were chairs as well. So some people had their backs on this big long bench up against the back wall. And then across from you, there were chairs that people could sit at. And so there was the table to the left of me where it was, again, I don't know the relations, so I'm just assuming it was a mom and then perhaps either an aunt or friend or sister or something. So there were two women. One was the mom. She had a couple of kids. One was in a stroller and was handed a phone and was paying attention to that. The two women were both on phones, though talking to each other. And one of the kids kind of just got away. Was basically kind of just walking around the food court, looking at people, talking. And all of a sudden, you see the kid climbs up onto the bench that we're all sitting on, right? It was just a bench. And then all of a sudden climbs onto the table and is standing on the table. So we're looking probably about 3 tables down. So again, these women were to my left. This was happening to the right. So unless you're really looking, right? Because you got a couple tables that there's people in the way or whatever. So even if she were to just turn her head, she might not have seen this little kid standing on the table because there's other people in the way. All of a sudden, this older woman, 50s, 60s, whatever it is carrying the kid to the mom to my left. Oh, here he was. I don't remember if it was a boy or girl. Oh, he was just standing on the table. You might want to keep an eye on him. And I thought, how are you not telling off this woman, this mother who's not paying attention to her kid? I mean, I realize that you don't want to get confrontation, whatever, but I'd be like, that the kid could have just fallen and cracked the head open and where are you? Where are you? Head down on your phone? Yeah, good mother of the year. I'm that kind of an asshole. Or is that being an asshole? Is it? I don't care for kids, but I mean, I'm looking at that going, that's irresponsible, lady. Come on now. Come on. So that's, again, a thing with age where you can just sort of look back and go, I can have my opinion. I can, because I'm certainly not one of those seniors who's like, I've earned the right in my 80s. But sometimes I definitely do feel like that. One of the other things that I enjoy is, taking a break. I enjoy taking a break on this show. It gives me a chance to catch my breath and have a sip of water. We'll be back on the Scribble right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
JB here on the Scribble on the subject of age and then also people watching. There's those shows on, it's A&E, but I think there's just the montage shows of people acting up on camera. Customer wars, neighborhood wars, road wars. A&E is known for those kinds of shows, right? Where you're just watching the foolishness of how people act in public or around each other or whatever. And they're fascinating to watch because there's no shortage of those kinds of clips, right? I mean, really, you can type in YouTube, I won't do it now, but if you type in, customer freakout or customer tantrum, customer breakdown, customer fight, customer whatever, you're going to get thousands of matches just because, right? That's what people record nowadays and quickly upload them. And so these shows that they have on A&E, I'm fascinated by because you just see how ridiculous and how, I'll use the word stupid, how stupid people are when they're out in public. Now, it's one thing to express yourself in a very direct way, right? A professional, mild-mannered way. And then there's the people on these shows. And so A&E just had one. It started a couple weeks ago, and I can't remember the name, but they're at the football games. They're at a football stadium, and so if my team is listening to me, which I hope they are, they're going to tell me in my ear in just a moment what that show is called, the Stadium Show on A&E. And you just see these fans, and TMZ is notorious for posting this every Monday after, when there's Sunday football. I would say without fail, you're going to see sometime on Monday a fight at a stadium pop up on TMZ. Stadium Lockup. That's what it's called? Okay. Stadium Lockup. And so you just kind of go, wow, this happens all the time. And so this stadium show that I was just talking about, apparently there's like 60,000 seats in the stadium. And I'm thinking that's basically a small city. Now, I don't know the defining number of what makes it a town, city, village, what have you. But I mean, 60,000 is a lot of people. Think about just even in your own neighborhood, that's going to be a lot of houses and a lot of, So they have their own police force or security force or whatever it is. And they're, 500 cameras or whatever it is that they say. And you can just imagine in the course of one football game, which I guess is a few hours. I don't know. I don't watch football, but let's say 3 hours. You're going to have rowdiness. You're going to have drunks. You're going to have fights. You're going to have belligerence. You're going to have rudeness. You're going to have, whatever it is. And so I just look at this and go, wow, this is what people do out in public. And so it goes back to what I just said at the start of the show, which is that's why I enjoy going through the mall or the food court or whatever it is in early afternoon, mid-afternoon, where I don't have to deal with people. And once I see traffic start to pick up, generally, 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever it is, when there's maybe a bit more foot traffic in the store, in the mall, or if we're outside and we're walking and I just see a lot of traffic coming by, whatever, and I'm like, now's a good time to get home. I don't want to be around all these people. I have no interest. So it's not that I'm a shut-in. It's not that I'm a recluse. I just said, I go out with my husband all the time to eat. I would much rather not be around people. I don't want to be in a restaurant with a bunch of screaming kids. I don't want to be in a sports bar where people are, there's the music and there's the noise and people are drinking. And then when you drink, you get a little bit louder as well. And so there's that. Once in a while, I'll be able to tolerate it, but I'm kind of like, it's not for me. It's not my thing anymore. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. Again, I want to hear from the people my age, 40, 50 plus. Email live, live, at jbonair.com, live at jbonair.com. Something that I've criticized, especially like with TMZ, is, and I've noticed a few people have commented on TMZ as well, because I didn't realize that I guess there was a comments section before, and I guess they took it away because now there's these banners or these ads that are on TMZ that say the comments are back. So apparently that was, I guess, a big deal that they didn't have it, and now they do. And so when I noticed that, I went and scrolled down. So let's say one of these fights. And I've noticed that people are commenting and going, TMZ, which stands for 30 Mile Zone. It's, remember, it was a celebrity gossip website when it first started. Now I don't really know what it is. It's kind of just random stuff about everything. And so that's what some people are commenting and going like, what? Oh, great. So now every little school fight, because a couple weeks ago there was some kind of a baseball fight and kids, high school kids, or there was one for basketball as well the other day. And you look at that and go, this is basically just telling people like, hey, you can get onto TMZ, or hey, I saw people doing it. I saw this big riot in the stands. And so, which is just, I don't know. This is why I've never ever had an interest in social media. It's just not my thing. I have no interest in, seeing what people are doing every minute of the day. Now, will I watch one of those compilation shows that has all the customer freakouts and stuff? Yes, because I'm laughing about it. And it's not that I'm sitting and scrolling and watching 1 minute video after 1 minute video. I mean, they've packaged it into a television show, so I don't have to do anything. I can just sit and watch it. But in terms of, scrolling and seeing all that kind of stuff on social media, I just don't get why people, they're looking for that 15 minutes or whatever it is. And I've never had a situation where I guess I've never been in a situation, I'm trying to think now. I've never been on a plane that's had, passenger disturbance where there's people yelling and freaking out and getting tied to their chairs. I've never been I guess I've seen sort of an angry customer at, a fast food restaurant who's maybe raising their voices, but I've never seen a situation where you have, a customer coming in and trashing the place and throwing things around and being destructive. I've never witnessed that. But part of that's probably because I don't go out and don't want to be around people. It's just such a weird time. I think back to, when I first started traveling in my, I was early 20s when I first started traveling, that it was kind of almost like and it certainly wasn't like back in the day in like the 70s where people were dressed to the nines and you were smoking and you were having dinners and, it was almost like a resort. I wasn't traveling then, but I just remember my first couple flights where there was a bit of decorum. Like it was kind of like it was the fact that you're flying means that you either, have money or it's your job or whatever it is. I don't remember people being so, can I use the word trashy and dumpy with those two words I can use to describe people? Maybe it's a bit judgmental. Nevertheless, you've seen how people act. So I've never really thought of it. Now, when I see people just, are just slobs and don't care. And don't get me wrong, I have flown on a plane in sweats and, I'm not saying that. But just the whole experience of it all, right? You know that you're going to get crammed into this plane. You know that it's going to be, somebody obnoxious is going to be beside you or is going to take the armrest or is going to be getting up a million times. So you got to get up to let them go to the bathroom or just whatever it is, that it's just not a fun experience anymore. So I think maybe that's what it is that they've set the bar so low that, well, why would I be classy when the experience is going to be treating me like I'm cattle, right? I'm not classy cattle. So anyway, tell me your thoughts about that as well. Live at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com. I think, we've got one more break, and then we're going to wrap things up on the Scribble right after this.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
JB on the Scribble. One of the other things about age is you just stop giving a damn because our show right now is running, a minute over? And back in the day, that would have had me just crapping my pants. I would need an adult diaper because, oh my God, we're running out of time. We're late. Start cutting. And now I'm just like, we ran over 30 minutes. Okay, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. All right. Feel free to give me a shout. Send me an email, live at jbonair.com, LIVE at jbonair.com. I will talk to you next week, everybody. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some